Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bulletproof Underwear, episode number 197. Yeah! Woo! I am your co-host, Yam Juice.
And I'm your co-host, Flex.
And today, we've got none other than the lovely and talented Bajewel. Yeah! So, what's up, Bajewel?
Oh, not a whole bunch. I've been getting into Halo quite a bit. Actually, I think you're pretty aware because I've been playing a lot with you.
That's right. But Bajewel is my real-life sister, for anybody who hasn't seen previous episodes. So, yeah, all three of us have played some Halo.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's somewhat early in the month, although it's getting towards the middle of the month. It's,
Almost, yeah.
As we record this, it is the 11th.
Yeah.
God, time flies. It seems like
a week away.
So the April season, that's really weird. That I just can't get my head wrapped around the idea of a month-long season. I mean, this doesn't seem to be a rational unit of measure to like say it's a season, you know.
Yeah.
So every ranking.
So every single month you got to re-rank in Halo. You got to play your 10, ranking matches in every game mode that you want to be ranked in.
Yeah.
So if you don't like your ranking, just wait another month and you get a chance to do it all over again.
Well, quite literally, the word season means like spring, April. It's or summer. It's a whole season. Month is a tiny little slice. There's too many of them too. There's 12 seasons a year, or do they have an off season?
Well, I kind of like it because it's like if there was just one ranking and you're always going up and you can never go back down, like once you top out at bronze you start at silver, once you top out at silver you go to gold, etc. But once you're gold you can't ever go back down to silver.
It should be totally fluid, because what if you have a real good streak and it's like you can't really live up to that no more, you get rusty and you come back and you can never come back, so I guess the seasons help with that.
Yeah, I guess they help with that. Oh my goodness. So, yeah. All right. So Flex, you have been playing MLB The Show.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So tell us about your experiences with that lately.
Well, basically, it's the same as MLB The Show 15 and 14. I just noticed today that the music is exactly the same.
Well, they already had the rights to it. Might as well just.
It's pretty much the same game, but it's got a little bit better graphics and it's got a few new modes, a few new mini games. They changed up the way you do the home run derby and stuff, but other than that, it's pretty much the same game. But I dig it. I mean, I like playing it, so
Yeah.
I've been playing the Road to the Show part of the game, which is you start out as a minor leaguer and work your way up to the big leagues.
Yeah. So do they give you the option of like trying to spike the shortstop?
No, I don't think that's an option.
Sliding in with the high spikes?
No, I don't think that's an option.
Yeah, play dirty. That would be a great mode. Like train, and develop your skills in playing dirty. You get caught a few times at first, and then improve your skill level. You get better at evading and getting bigger scams. Bigger plays.
Yep.
Yeah, you start off corking your bat. Pine tar.
Pine tar.
I mean, it's integral to the game now. It goes way back. They call it stealing base. All right.
Yeah. So maybe bring steroids into it.
Yeah, that could really juice up the game. Get it, juice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could have like you could have the clean league and you could have the the steroid league, and you could like go in and like change your regimen of your player. You know, it's like, okay, give them a little more human growth hormone, cut back on the androgens, and like, okay, like
see who can bioengineer the best players.
that's right. And like, there's a test coming up. It's like, all right, so you've got to mask, whatever. I don't know how they do that, but there's bound to be a way that they do that. Maybe sneak.
I used to play a video game that had a concept of a bioderm. It was a biologically engineered creature that was the living skin of a big mech, and it was alive, so you could kill it, and the mech would be dead. But it's like you could hop it up on all kinds of drugs, and during a fight you could boost it, with stimulants and stuff like that, and it would have better aim, better, all the different stuff that it could do, but it would build up toxins, and you had to detoxify your and they got better at their thing too. They the more they fired cannons, the better they got at cannons.
Yeah. The more I think about it, like you could just like forget MLB The Show. You could have this be its own separate game. It's like Steroid Cheat, the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need to have the game as sort of a backdrop, I guess.
Yeah. Or maybe you could do like maybe Lance Armstrong could lend his name to it, and be like Madden, football. This could be like Lance Armstrong.
He's famous in the field,
roiding it up.
Yeah. What did Lance actually do? I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of different scams that you can do. I mean, what was he actually doing? I don't
He was using
steroids?
Banned substances, steroids, growth hormone.
They can cheat by like giving you a transfusion of your own blood, because it's like your blood is worn out at the end of a peloton or whatever, and if you just exchange blood with a bag of your aerated and nutrient enriched blood from a former time, they can't test for it. All they can do is find the track holes in your arms. Stuff like that. But that's actually cheating. I mean, that's not fair. You recover faster. That's how fast you can recover and come back for the next day. So I mean, the cheating could be all kinds of different ways. I mean, there's having a bike lighter than 15 pounds. Apparently, they can do that. I didn't know that they could do that. There's a certain weight at which they won't let you ride a bike lighter than. So it's like they're all exactly that weight, but they could go lighter. They could.
They could go lighter. Wow.
So yeah.
So do they have to just screw washers onto it or something to make up the right weight?
I'm sure that they have very technological ways of adding the weight exactly where they want it. Low center of gravity or high or whatever they're shooting for. It's very intentional. Well, it's like I don't know if the viewers out there know, but I'm somewhat of a cycle nut as far as the gear. I guess I'm a gearhead. Last year I rode the AIDS life cycle thing for 545 miles from San Francisco to Los Angeles.
So you rode a bike all the way from San Francisco to Los Angeles.
Yep. Took 7 days.
Wow. So that's a pretty severe ride. So how many people partook in this?
There was 2,600 riders. We raised like $16 million for the AIDS Foundation.
Wow.
Yeah. Of course, it cost about $1 million to put us on the road. I mean, chowing down 2,600 plus, another 600 in just the roadies, doing the services, everything from porta potties to food service to snacks to medical attention and massages. They even had people giving massages.
Wow.
So, and sports medicine. I fell apart on the third day, and they put me back together, and I was great. I thought I was completely done, and this really, really very pretty girl was, pushing on all these muscles down because I sprung my crotch. It was like, oh my God, this girl is getting very, very personal with me. But it was all completely professional. But turned out that I had a pull in a muscle called the psoas, spelled PSO, psoas, and it goes all the way up to your backbone, but it attaches right on your inner thighs. So it wasn't the muscle that we had worked on the day before. It was actually the psoas. So once they figured out what the problem was, they rubbed it all out, and it was like, damn, I could walk again.
Wow. So as they do that, yeah.
So, yeah. It was a fun time.
So you told me that you're going to do it again this year too.
Well, I was planning to, but then life sort of happened. It's like, El Nino has rained us completely out of training. I mean, not completely, but it's been cold, it's been wet, and unfortunately, of late, I've been having to give up a lot of my time to take care of my mom, our mom.
Right.
Just like you do. And last year I had 2 weekend days that I could sacrifice one of all year. And near the end of the season, which is coming up right now, it's 2 months away. So it's like, if you're going to get better at it, you better get better in the next month, because you take the last month to ramp down and make sure that you're in good health. So this is the busy. They were doing 70 miles. The group that I normally do, and you got to do 2 weekend days near the end of the season, so your body is accustomed to getting 70 miles and then another 70 miles the next day.
Wow.
So
I didn't realize taking care of Mom was gonna make you stop being able to do that. I didn't realize. Sorry.
Well, I wasn't really. No, it's not a problem. But honestly, I have to say that I was lacking in motivation and the training because of the just. I don't know. There were a lot of factors. I just didn't have the fire in the belly, and taking care of Mom is a great excuse, at least.
Yeah.
I couldn't have been there anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, Flex, your mom is pretty old. Is she in pretty good health?
Yeah, she's doing okay. She just had a hip replacement back in January. She's having her other hip replaced in May.
Excellent.
And she's doing well after that. She's getting along pretty good. So yeah, she's doing okay. She's in pretty good health.
Yeah. Well, our mom broke her hip like 2 years ago, and it's been all downhill.
It was December, not this last year, but
December of 2014.
Yeah,
I remember it.
just a little over a year.
Well, a year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah. So, Bajewel and I, have to, I go on Saturdays. She goes on Sundays. And
Used to be enough. I also do Thursdays, but luckily I don't have to take off work or miss a day. I actually can work from my mom's house, so I do. And I make sure that I work really hard on those days so that I keep the privilege. Actually, what I do is I make sure that she's all tucked in and stuff like that with lunch and dinner and stuff like that. And I head out around 2 o'clock, and I come home and work the rest of the day. And then I work a little bit into the night on that night so that I can make up for having burned up some time caregiving and stuff like that. But
yeah. Well, that's one thing about being an old ass fart. That means your parents are extremely old.
Definitely.
Yeah, our mom's 89, so this
Wow.
November, if she makes it that far, she'll be 90.
Oh yeah, and it's like, the other day, It was my birthday recently, but around that time I was talking to this really cute guy up at work. He's a Russian, and is like, oh my God, he was telling me how old his mom is. His mom was born a year after I was born. I'm older than his mom.
You're older than his mom.
Oh my freaking God. So
Yeah.
thank you, Anton.
Okay, so everybody on this call is old farts, so
Yeah,
we're up there.
we got the right.
That's right. So speaking of old farts,
Yes.
let's talk about politics.
Oh yes, let's do.
So they're all pretty old. Okay.
Yeah.
Sanders is 74. Okay. Trump and Hillary, interestingly enough, are the same age.
I thought they were like 68 and 69, something
No,
like that.
no, no. They're both 69. That's what I
Oh,
heard.
really?
They're both
Okay.
they're both 69.
It's cool for me.
Imagine
They're all right in there in a tight little bunch there.
Actually, imagine Trump and Hillary doing a 69.
Oh, no. Wow. That's harsh. That's harsh.
I know that is like got to be the most revolting thing that's ever been uttered on BPU.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, hopefully it make it into the top 40 at least. Yeah. All right. So yeah, but Ted Cruz, on the other hand, is a young buck, right?
Yeah.
Now,
But, Ted Cruz has not been in the Senate for very long. And oddly enough, I learned on the news the other day, winning senator of Texas 4 years ago, which is what he did, is the only election he's ever been in. He's never run for dog catcher, mayor,
City council,
house, any of that stuff. Nothing. And the thing is, he got into a runoff. He was the second guy against a regular moderate in Texas, which I don't know. There's not many left of, and it was a very Tea Party kind of year, and
it was 2012, right?
it was 2012. That's right, and for some reason Texas was. That's right. They were in a lawsuit, and they couldn't have their primary till the very, very end of the season. It was completely decided already who the presidential candidate was going to be. That was Mitt Romney. It was totally a lead pipe cinch, and nobody wanted to come out to the primary to vote for Mitt Romney or any of the others if they liked Huckabee better or something like that.
Because it was already decided.
It's already decided. So the only people that actually showed up at the Texas primary were the truly, truly religiously deep, conservative, get out the voters. And only 1.1 million people came out to vote in that primary. And Ted won 600,000 of them. 631,000 to be very close to accurate.
Wow, that's more information than probably we actually even needed.
There you go. Sometimes I have a total recall of political facts.
Okay. So what made Ted decide to just run for Senate out of the blue? I mean, most people, their political career is like, okay, I'll run for the city council, and then like from there, I'll go for maybe the state legislature, and then maybe I'll go for congressman or mayor or something. This like they work their way up a little bit. Senate is pretty high.
Yeah, really. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what he did before that. I saw this all on the news and was able to retain a lot of it, but they didn't go into his life before, and I haven't actually independently researched it. So,
well, his name's not even Ted; it's Raphael.
Okay.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I didn't
know
know
that
it
he
either.
was born of Canadian citizens.
Yeah. His name is Raphael Edward Cruz. So he goes by the nickname Ted. So Raphael Cruz.
Raphael.
Yeah, he sounds like a Cabana Boy, doesn't he?
Yeah. When you get down to it, Raphael Cruz. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good name for a Cabana Boy on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Now, I was like flicking around on YouTube, and Ted Cruz was on a podcast. He was on a YouTuber podcast. Some guy, he doesn't even have 500,000 subs.
Wow.
Louder with Crowder. He managed to get Ted Cruz as a guest.
Crowder. Okay.
Is his name Steven Crowder? I think maybe that's what it is. He has some kind of a radio show, and he has also a YouTube channel.
Okay, because that name rang a bell somewhere. I don't know the name. It hit a bell. I have no association, but he must be a conservative nut.
He's done. I wouldn't say he's a nut job. He's one of those conservative YouTubers that has a blog poking fun. Mostly he pokes fun at social justice warriors. And, it's kind of entertaining, but he is right-wing. But he's intelligent and he's articulate, and he does have a radio DJ kind of a voice. And here was Ted Cruz on a Skype call, just like we're on right now.
Yeah.
He had little iPhone earbuds in his ears. He was sitting in his own house. He was wearing a like a shirt with a undershirt underneath it. Yeah. He had behind him, like he was right up against the wall. He had a framed statue or framed kind of a art of like the Statue of Liberty's head.
Oh.
And he was just talking with Crowder. It's like, wow, that's weird. When he was, I don't know. It's like the politicians now, they go on NBC, CBS, Fox and all that. But now they're even going on podcasts.
Well, I mean, Obama did that, right?
Obama did that?
Yeah. Between Two Ferns with Galifianakis. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Galifianakis is a human being. That's a person's name.
That's that guy who was in the Hangover, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a Hollywood guy. He's a funny dude.
He's got a YouTube channel called Between Two Ferns, and it's like that's the prop. It's two people are sitting together talking between two ferns, and actually he made some interesting and weird statements, and Obama was like threatening. Hey, it's funny. You should look up Obama Between Two Ferns. And
did he do that when he was running for office, or did he as president?
I think he was promoting his healthcare thing to young people to get them to sign up.
Well, I'd say that's probably a pretty good idea because I think podcasts are mostly watched by young people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's where the population is. So, dang, yeah, everything is going web. Y'all should give yourself a pat on the back. You're pioneers in a new era. Well,
I'm probably the oldest podcaster that I personally know, but so anyway, just everybody's talking about what state is it that Ted Cruz just stole votes from Donald Trump?
Well, he just won all the votes in Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado. He just 100% of the delegates in Colorado. Somehow he went in there and
I don't think
swiped
they
them.
had a primary or a thing. I think they just decide who their delegates are going to be. So all the delegates are up for grabs, and it's like whoever you can convince. And basically Trump, had from this evening's news, I recall that Trump's brochure that they hand out to the people that get to vote for the delegates had 13 names on it and a number associated with it that they could actually plug in to like vote for that person. 6 of those numbers were wrong, and one of the person's names on the list was misspelled. And it's like the other campaigns didn't have this problem. So Trump is using amateurs to run his delegate operations. And
Now that was last week that happened, right?
I'm
And
not sure exactly, but
This is
very
okay.
recent, and
he brought
Louisiana, he won all that. He's been through like 3 or 4 states, really gobbling up an awful lot of the delegates.
Right, you're talking about Trump or
No,
Cruz?
Cruz. I mean,
Cruz, yeah.
The places where Trump won, Cruz is getting the majority of the delegates. And places where they're just up for grabs, Cruz is getting all of his people.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I know that Trump just brought in a hired gun, right?
Yeah.
To stop that shit.
Yeah, he showed up on the Meet the Press this Sunday. His new hired gun. He didn't impress me.
Okay, well, I haven't seen him talk, but Ann was saying he looks like a gangster.
He does. He looks very gangster. And come to find out, interesting factoid. This came from Chuck Todd, actually, who interviewed him. And I admire that man, the man with 2 first names, Chuck Todd. In any case, what was I even saying about
The gangster guy.
the gangster guy? Yeah. Apparently, the gangster guy is actually a longtime tenant of Mr. Trump. Lives in his building, Trump Towers and shit.
Okay.
So it's like he's probably, see, Trump has this tiny little operation of cronies. That's how they got into where the campaign manager was engaged in fisticuffs, basically against.
Well, I saw that video. That was bullshit. That is spurious. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I think that the video
think
showed
the bruises on her wrist were probably real. I mean, it's like it didn't look like he cold cocked her, but he grabbed her with considerable force and changed the direction of her body. The momentum. You have to grip pretty hard on somebody's body to do that. So, and women are sometimes not very, robust.
Well,
they're fragile. So
a lot of people saw that video and did not see anything like any kind of wrongdoing in that.
yeah, I know. But actually, I don't think battery is is what most people think it is. Battery is essentially, I think, touching against somebody's will. He's touching me, that sort of thing.
Well,
Which he was. He was touching her.
All right,
I don't know.
whatever.
Well, I don't want to litigate that, but it's like the fact is, this guy is very gangster.
Okay,
Also,
so
apparently he's not very good at his job because he's the guy that sent the totally faulty slate of candidates. This last weekend, whichever contest it was, I think it was Colorado.
Okay, so you're talking about the guy who got arrested.
No. There's 2 different guys. There's the guy who got arrested. That's his old campaign manager, and there's the new hired gun. I don't know what his actual role is, but I think he's basically there in charge of trying to get delegates. I think he's a longtime crony of Trump's. Lived in one of his buildings. Probably knows him personally, and he actually, in the interview with Chuck Todd, said, "Yeah, I've known Trump for years." So it's like,
okay. But does he know anything about stealing delegates like Cruz knows?
I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's like we don't know. They didn't. He's a lawyer.
Okay. Well,
the thing is, Trump is just running this on a shoestring, and he doesn't have operations. He doesn't have, Well, the thing is, I think he's been trying to stick true to the brand and not be a political insider. But you have to hire some of them. You have to have them on staff. He's always run his operation, obviously, just as I'm the one that knows everything here, and
he's just like seat of the pants.
Yeah, no delegation. It's just
spitballing here.
I'm just going on instinct here, which he's
going with my gut.
He's got great instincts, but not knowing how to get delegates in a state and not knowing that you even needed to do that. whoever the campaign manager is, technically, is doing a bad job because these are things that are in that person's job. Trump doesn't have to know this stuff, but he has to have hired people that did. Yes. He has to know if he's hiring people who would know that. And that's his whole thing in his Apprentice fucking show. It's like hiring the right people to do the right staff, and delegate authority appropriately. And he's judging these people, and he can't seem to actually, delegate. This is a big operation. It's the biggest operation, I think, in the world. I don't think that there's any corporations that have more power and more import than the POTUS.
POTUS.
Yes. President of the United States.
POTUS and SCOTUS.
Yep.
Yeah, Supreme Court of the United States.
You know what POTUS is?
First Lady of the United States. First Lady of the United States. POTUS, FLOTUS, SCOTUS.
It sounds kind of dirty.
Hey, Flex, you remember back in the 90s, there was a band called Presidents of the United States.
Yep.
Going to the country, gonna eat a lot of peaches.
I recall that song, but I don't remember that band. I'm not any good at band names.
But did you remember that song? Going to the country, gonna
when
eat
you
a
sang
lot
it,
of peaches.
I wouldn't have been able to recall it otherwise. I can tell you that.
I don't think they had a whole lot of hit songs, but their name was interesting. Presidents of the United States.
Yeah.
It's not the president, it's presidents.
Yep, presidents.
That reminds me of that movie where the band takes over a radio station. It had Brendan Fraser and Steve Buscemi in it. And, what do you call yourselves? We're the Lone Rangers.
All right.
So, I don't know if you realize this, but there are three of you. You call yourself the Lone Rangers?
That's true.
Anyway, that was pretty funny.
Hey, I'm gonna do like a politician we all know.
There you go. That's your Rubio impression.
Yep. I hope nobody's talking.
That's okay. You can drink water. You can smoke cigarettes. You can smoke joints. You can snort, lines, whatever on camera that you're comfortable with.
All right. Okay. So I'll peel off my human skin and show my real self.
That works. It's all about the views, man. All about the views. So let's switch gears over to the other side. Now,
yes. Okay. So I'm really, really glad that they calmed down. They were having a little bit of a food fight. Feel the burn, baby. Burn, baby, burn.
I got that this weekend.
There you go.
Yeah.
The race got a little snippy this last week. Everybody was like, you're not qualified to be president. No, and you're not qualified to be president. Oh, I'm qualified to be president, all right. You're not qualified. I don't know, just very petty kind of stuff. I was hoping for better on our side, but.
Well, it in no way rises to the level of food fights of the Republican side.
This is true.
There was no mention of hand size or, whose wife is going to spill any beans or any of that kind of shit.
Yep. Didn't whip out the rulers. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I guess we're lucky in that, but on Bernie's side, it looks like such a long shot for poor Bernie. I mean,
but
he's
got momentum right now, though.
He does, and actually, Bill Clinton did an unforced error the other day, and it's actually kind of going to hurt her a little bit. He was he was on stage as her surrogate, so it's fair game. And the Black Lives Matter people were protesting and telling him that he should be ashamed of having done the crime bill that a lot of people say has led to an awful lot of brown-skinned people being incarcerated. A lot of people are actually saying that Hillary is not very good on civil rights because she was using dog whistle terms like super predator back when Bill Clinton was running for the crime bill. Actually, they discussed that on my political show this evening too, and it's like basically there were a lot of good things that came with the crime bill. 100,000 cops, a 10-year ban on assault rifles, which is now gone. Lots of other good things, community policing and other things like that.
Well, what exactly? At that time, I wasn't paying much attention to politics. So
I wasn't either. But
what was in the crime bill?
What was in the crime bill?
What did the Black Lives Matter
3
people
strikes,
object
you're
to?
out, long mandatory sentences, all sorts of things that make it like 25 times more punishment for rock cocaine instead of loose powder cocaine. The kind the poor people take. The crack and shit like that is like 20 times worse of a penalty than the cocaine that rich people use.
Now, is this a federal law or is this?
I think it's federally mandated because
drug busts are usually
drugs are
they're usually
at state and federal level. I mean, it's the who is the DEA Department.
The Drug Enforcement Agency.
Drug Enforcement. That's a federal thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so the DEA, that's one of the big ones in the drug stuff. So it's federal laws.
Well, the DEA, if you get busted for drugs in San Francisco, it's not from the DEA. It's from the San Francisco Police Department.
This is true. But I don't know. I'm not sure exactly the mechanism that did it, but it is the crime bill and very long sentencing and harsh punishments and harsher punishments for the crack cocaine and just a whole lot of details that they say is the reason why we imprison more of our people than any other first world country and a lot of second world countries.
But it's not like that's a brand new thing. It's like we've been
no, it
locking
actually
away a lot of
happened
people
since they did the crime bill.
We weren't the leading incarcerator before that.
I don't believe that we were. I mean, incarceration rates have gone way, way the fuck up.
But the thing is, these are
the war on drugs and shit.
Okay,
no?
federal. It's like this is the increase in that isn't due to federal prisons.
I don't know.
I mean, federal prisons are a very small percentage of the total prison population. State by state, each state has its own prison system.
Well, all I know is that for sure the dynamic of what Clinton did, Bill Clinton signed, and what Hillary was supporting in the crime bill is seen widely by those in the know as something that was very, very against African American people. That it was very bad for the blacks.
I'll have to look more into it. I don't really know shit about it.
It's like, I don't know exactly all the mechanisms and statutes specifically, but generally it's the increased sentences, minimum sentences,
3 strikes you're out
for crime, and it's the crackdown on the crime, and everybody was worried about crack at the time, and that's one of the reasons why it became what it did, because that was the crack epidemic. But
are people still using crack? Flex, Flex, we got to ask you about this. Are people still using crack?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know.
But in any case, somebody was to get back to where we started half an hour ago. Bill Clinton, was at a speech, and the Black Lives Matter people challenged him about it, because at least that's an issue that's seen as having been a bad thing, and he defended it, and he didn't do a very good job, and he sounded bad doing it, and a lot of black people are not happy, and it's like that's the one place that Sanders needs to attack Hillary, is in her black supporters. And interestingly enough, I mean,
Okay, so in case anybody doesn't know, the reason Hillary is in the lead is because she won all those southern states.
all the black votes.
She got the black vote like overwhelmingly, which like gave her all those southern states.
In the South, there's two groups: the very liberal people and the very conservative people. And the very liberal people are generally the black people. The very conservative people are the white people. So she won all of those states with huge margins. And interesting fact that in modern politics, it's not about so much attracting additional people. I mean, you have to have people that you attract. But most of the politicking these days is suppressing the other person's vote. So if you can make people really believe that Hillary is not good for black people, that Bill Clinton did black people a disservice, and that Hillary was right there supporting him all the way through that. If he can make those kinds of doubts, then her people will stay at home, and his people.
But I don't think
out.
he's been. I don't think he's been going that way.
I don't think he has, but the fact is, Bill flubbed up badly. He did a bad interview. It was Bill, the best natural politician in existence. If you were going to design a video game or a board game or something like that, or D&D role playing kind of thing, Bill Clinton would have the perfect score, for politics. He would be the political giant. He really was. He has an innate instinct that nobody else has.
Yeah. Now, Black Lives Matter is a weird thing. Okay, they took over a Bernie Sanders rally a few months ago, and they just basically more or less just snatched the microphone out of his hands.
Yeah, and he let them. I mean, and Trump accused him of being a horrible person. It's like, you'll never see me let go of the microphone. I'll die with it in my cold dead hands.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think the Black Lives Matter is. I think they've alienated a lot of the country. I don't think they have a wide amount of support. Like,
well,
a lot of liberals.
I think amongst certain group of black folks, I bet they have a lot of traction. It's like it doesn't have to be folks like you. They have quite a few folks of their own. And despite certain voter restrictions and problems since they gutted the Voting Rights Act, everybody gets a vote, and they've got a lot of bodies. So, and everybody gets their vote. Here in California, I don't know, Flex, if you were aware, or James, but they just did a law where you will be registered to vote in California unless you object.
That's already in place.
It's under the works. I think it's going into place. In other words, it's law. I don't know if it's implemented fully yet, but they're on their way.
Well, I know they've for years they've talked about motor voter, where you can register, at the DMV and stuff like that. And Republicans have generally been against that. They want fewer voters, and Democrats want more voters.
Yeah.
So this would be like, if you're born, you're basically registered when you turn 18 then.
Pretty much. If they know about you, you will be registered, and you can deregister if you wish. Oh, interesting thing I saw on the news earlier today. Donald Trump's got two children who are not registered Republicans in New York and will not be able to vote for their dad.
Oh, they can't vote for dad.
Yeah, yeah.
What is their registration?
They didn't say, but they're not registered. In fact, it specifically said we don't know if they're, of another party or just not registered at all, but they're definitely not registered as Republicans.
It's like you can't change your voter registration this far in advance.
New York is Tuesday after this coming Tuesday.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I think I read that if you want, you could sign up as recently as a month ago, new, but if you wanted to change your party, it was October.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, and by the way, California, I found out we are definitely, I don't know if there's any contests on the Democrat side, but we are the last contest for the Republicans for sure. And Ted Cruz was here in California today campaigning for votes.
What part of the state?
Southern California.
Southern California.
Yeah. Apparently, he's playing some delegate strategy to try and deny Trump. So I don't know.
Well, I think polls are showing Trump with a small lead over Cruz in California, but that could change.
Yeah. The fact is, it's like it's awarded by congressional districts, so it's not a statewide vote; it's a congressional district vote. So, and some of those districts down in Southern California are fairly conservative.
Right, but you know what? I just saw Nate Silver from 538. I was just watching just a little bit before this. He's saying Democrat districts, like up in Northern California, like Nancy Pelosi's district.
Yeah.
Each district awards 3 delegates.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if the district is in a Republican area or if it's in a Democratic area. So those.
But the thing is, I think it's the Republican. In other words, the Republicans in Nancy Pelosi's district put 3 people.
Right. Even though there's not very many Republicans,
so
in
each
Nancy
one
Pelosi's,
of them is. It's like there may be only 10, and they're deciding 3 delegates.
Yeah, well, there's more than that, but basically they were saying that a delegate, in a like a hardcore Democrat district has more power than 100 voters. A voter in that district has more power than 100 voters in Florida does.
That's why Ted Cruz is in California playing the long game 2 months from now, because actually, now that I think back of it, it's like that's how he won his Texas thing, is basically by being the ultra-conservative in an extremely low turnout race. And, it's going to be the last race. I don't know. It's probably going to be a nail-biter by then, because it's like, will Trump, because if it's that price, because it's like, God, it's 172 delegates, I think. And, if Trump is really close, there's no way that California won't be decisive in that. We will find, they won't know till after the polls close here who's going to be Republican or if it's going to go to an open convention.
Right.
I mean, I don't think that,
well, we get to vote on June 7th.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, that's late.
But it's still going to matter. I think
it's still going to matter. Yeah.
At least the Republicans. We know that theirs is just really close. I mean,
well, if Bernie has any chance, then he has to get California.
He has to win a lot of California. He has to actually draw to a tie, at least in New York. He's got to. But actually, we're about halfway through all of the primaries. I mean, like you said, 2 months from now is when.
I think we're actually past the halfway point.
Well, just a little bit, but I mean, we're roughly, we're right in the middle. we're not at 2/3 or anything.
Now, Saturday Night Live just did a spoof on Hillary trying to be a New Yorker. She's like playing up how much of a New Yorker she is. Now, she's not from New York.
No, but she's lived there for now many, many years.
Yeah.
So she knows what the subway is like. She embarrassed, Bernie. Bernie was talking about Subway and Subway tokens. Apparently that changed like 16 years ago or something like that. Bernie hasn't been home in a long time. I mean, he grew up to be 18 years old in Brooklyn, but he moved. Hasn't been back, really.
Right, but he's in Vermont, which is like a nearby state.
It's a hop, skip, and a jump, But still.
So I don't know. So you're the poll person. How are the polls in New York?
Let's see. I don't really know. I think it's like, I think Hillary has like a 12-point lead or something in that kind of ballpark. As I think it's a double digit, but it's not a real high double digit.
Is it proportional or winner take all?
It's proportional. Every Democrat race is proportional. So that's why it's so hard to catch up, because he's got to win by large margins, to catch up. If he doesn't catch up, if he does actually go to even parity, neither of them will have the delegates they need, and they'll have to rely on those super delegates. And of course, his only strategy to win
is to make it close enough so they can turn them.
Yeah. Basically, he can, get them to like support him. And pardon me, if Hillary gets indicted for her emails or something like that, or they find a big bad about Hillary, we'll have plenty of time to switch over to Bernie, and everybody will be quite happy with that. Actually,
True.
I don't know. There's a lot of people out there who are saying, well, if it's going to be Hillary, I don't think I can vote for her. It's like, come on.
No, I know. I've heard that too.
I mean, how could you possibly? I mean, it's like, okay, well, if you don't vote, you're doing what they want you to do. The big they want you to not vote. They are encouraging, apathy. They want it to be a nasty system that nobody likes doing. They want it to be onerous. That's why in Republican states, they have to wait 8 hours in line to get to vote. They want to suppress people generally, and you're doing the will of the conservatives if you don't show up and vote. So you can't not vote. I mean, by not showing up, that's a vote. I'm sorry, it is. It just is. So you can't not vote, and it's like it's your responsibility as a sentient person to decide how you're going to do that. So and not showing up is just another vote for the conservatives.
Well, now, in all fairness, Bulletproof Underwear is technically a nonpartisan podcast.
But I am not nonpartisan. You have a partisan guest.
Okay, well, that is absolutely more than fair. That is no problem at all. You are the guest, and you have your own.
But yes, in other words, you cannot endorse and or support all the views that are espoused by me.
Right. I mean, I know that we don't want to turn off any of our supporters here.
I'm that controversial person that they just hate. Hell, I'm a tranny to begin with.
That's it. Well, it'd be funny. It's like we've had another guest on this show who is like hardcore the other side, hardcore conservative.
Excellent.
we should have him and you on the same episode. What do you think, Flex? We get a real barn burner going.
I don't know if I could.
Remember Frozen
I don't know.
Sword?
We tried that shit before and it don't work.
Really?
No.
Well, no, we tried to. We had an atheist versus a theist. And that really didn't. Get too. It didn't get too heated.
We tried to have a lot of controversial episodes and they didn't work.
Yeah.
We tried to get a Halo.
Oh, that's right. The people that hate the modern Halo.
Yeah, and we were hoping to get sparks flying, but we didn't really get too much traction on that.
Well, hey, what did you think about my idea? Yam Yam calls me up and said we need a guest. And it's like, hey, is there any way that we could just all get online and stream our stuff and record that and record the audio of us talking on the game,
Playing
awesome
some Halo.
thing?
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, surely they can hook that stuff up, live stream and all. Yeah. There's got to be a way that you can do that.
Well, from what I could imagine, it would be like, since I'm recording it, it would be like my gameplay with you guys in the lobby talking. I mean, I don't know how, unless we need a better tech person to figure out any other arrangement than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, isn't there some way that like I could be live streaming and we could just put a computer to be recording that,
Well,
and
that's
then
true.
my footage would be available to splice in with yours. So if I said, "Oh, check that out. Check out what I just did," and then you could cut it in.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And all three of us basically, have each of us broadcasting, or you wouldn't have to. Yours would be maybe the primary play, but
Well, I bet we could get T-Gizzle to rig that up, Flex. But see, okay, you don't need a capture card. You can broadcast directly from your Xbox.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yep.
Have you ever tried to stream?
I've never streamed.
I have.
Yeah, I've messed around with it just a little bit, not much.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, we could.
I figure if you're
maybe-
going to stream, you try and hit the target. People don't like it when you miss.
Yeah. Actually, that could be sort of interesting, Flex. We could play some weird games with our guests. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you could do it with any game, you could do it with any other game, probably. So y'all could. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool if you could rig that up as a regular gig and it's like play in front of a camera, so the camera's got your face, but you're looking at the game talking,
Wow,
I don't know about y'all, but I really enjoy my time online with other people. I actually just recently got my friend up at work to start playing the Master Chief Edition of Halo, and he has finished almost all of Halo CE. I almost said Windows CE, but in any case, so the other night I joined in on his game. He had never Xbox Lived before.
You never played in a social environment with another player before?
Never, ever, ever.
Wow.
Actually, as a present, because he's my bud. We had lunch today, and it's like, okay, well, if you've got an Xbox, we should get together sometimes and play. So I actually bought him a year subscription to Xbox. So
Xbox Live.
yeah,
Okay.
Xbox Live. Yeah. So
So you guys are now like at lunch, like debating the merits of needlers versus.
we were. He hates the needler, at least in that Halo. He does. Yeah.
Well, if you hate the needler and you're in the CE campaign, you're kind of in trouble, huh?
Well, there's an awful lot of needling going on, but
Well, it's one of the easiest weapons to find just laying around.
yeah. But it's like, I don't know. If you don't like it, there's plenty of plasma rifles to go around, and actually, you can pretty much keep your assault rifle if you want it.
Well, you run out of bullets and there's no more around. I mean, there's millions of times I have to pick up just whatever the fuck I could get my hands on. I mean, even a plasma pistol.
It's true. Sometimes you're down to just a plasma pistol. That's the bottom of the barrel.
That's the bottom of the barrel. You get them off of grunts.
Yeah, but it can do a cool thing. You can charge it, and one discharge will just take out a large thing.
I think it'll strip the whole shield.
Yeah, it'll knock down the entire shield, and then you can just pistol shoot them. It can also take out one of those things that fly. If you hit it, it will be down. It will be gone. You know. So yeah, it's and actually I've heard that in modern Halo, that's the strategy. You can actually have somebody shield stripping, in a party, and somebody else, using ballistic weapons, to
Well, I don't know if it's like, yeah, you are kind of a Halo noob.
yeah,
There's something called the noob combo, where like if you pick up a plasma pistol and shoot a charged bolt at somebody and switch weapons and get them with a headshot, it's called that the noob combo.
okay,
In fact, if you do that, you get a medal for that called noob combo.
really, okay.
Yeah.
So why is it a
Yeah.
noob combo? So I guess it's one shot with the charge, and then one shot with the thing. So
It's got to be a headshot to get the official noob combo.
yeah. But still, it's like shield strips in one shot.
Strips in one shot, and then but you can just like hold the thing like zzz.
Yeah, you can run around with.
Yeah. So I don't usually pick it up because I would trust my 4-shot BR, over that. But
Well,
just
if
for
you
fun,
miss,
I've done it.
you're not going to get another shot. Now you have a lousy plasma pistol in your hand, or you get to switch and start with your AR.
Yeah, yeah. So anywho, so he had played Halo before, or he not played.
He
Halo
never
before?
played any Halo before. I convinced him to get a copy. I was hoping that he was going to get Halo Guardians, number 5, but he bought. He's a rather frugal person, and it's like you get 4 games in one for the
That's
Master
true.
Chief.
That's true.
No contest.
Yeah. So all right. So now
recruiting.
he's like.
I spawned my own Halo person.
So yay! You've actually proselytized.
I have. I've recruited.
Yeah, there's a new Halo lover in the world.
Yep. But he's also the guy that was playing Witcher so much. Like I was telling you, and he's got a very different style of Witcher than me. I like the spells. I like the magic stuff. It works for me. I've always been a spellcaster in RPGs, and in Witcher it's a whole different thing. They're not so much official spells as just you have a power to do like a thing, the tiny little thing, but it's handy in combat. But if you just brute force it, you can actually just hack your way through. And that's the style, and you can play up to that too. Build your armor resistance and your attack strength and all that sort of thing, and play that.
Well, for somebody who's kind of new to video games, and it sounds like
Yeah.
he's pretty new to video games. That's probably the easiest way to go.
Yep. This is true. Yeah,
So
it's
he
a lot
should-
simpler.
If he's real frugal, he should play those Xbox games with gold.
Oh yeah. I told him all about you get all these free games. It's like, okay, yeah, sign me up, baby. So
Like Flex, have you downloaded this month's? It's The Wolf Among Us or something like that. What is that game? It's kind of a cell animation.
I've downloaded it. I ain't played it yet though.
Yeah, I've downloaded it. I haven't tried it yet.
I've
Some
been
people
remiss.
are playing. I think some people are playing it. I don't know who.
I watched Skag stream the first chapter of it.
Or did you?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I saw a heroin addict chick's like head get chopped off. That's kind of cool.
Hey, well, there you go. There's your value.
Yeah. But most of the games aren't that good. I mean, they're not that appealing. I mean, sometimes they're okay. I think, is it this month or last month that you got the original Borderlands?
last month.
Last month. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I've been
Dang,
playing
I
the shit
think I
out of
must
it.
have missed it. Wow, I'm terrible. Yeah, original Borderlands, that would be cool.
Yeah. No sheet.
Oh well, I should just buy the Handsome Collection and get it over with, you know.
You know what? I did buy it on PlayStation.
Ah,
I got it on PlayStation. I just haven't got around to playing much of it. I played a little bit of it with Toby. Flex, you and me and Toby played that game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she's all about the PlayStation 4.
We
yeah,
did some
yeah,
bashing in it.
yeah. I haven't heard her name in a long, long time.
She just moved, right?
Getting ready to.
Oh, where's she going?
Just British Columbia.
Another place in the same.
Yeah, she's moving from the Yukon
Ah,
to British Columbia, which is like not as cold probably.
hopefully. So the Yukon, I mean, literally, that's like synonymous with Siberia or something. It's like
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
the Yukon.
It doesn't get much rougher than that, man.
Yeah. So that reminds me, Yam and I were talking about the Appalachian Trail the other day. Do you remember that? Like,
Yeah.
I found out. I bought some titanium camp gear for my birthday, and with my REI coupon and stuff like that, my bonus. And apparently, they kept talking about through hikers. And this is great for through hikers. It's like, what's a through hiker? I googled it up, and apparently, those who walk the Appalachian Trail and two other big trails here in the U.S., and there's some other worldwide ones where you just walk like 2,300 miles, over 3 or 4 months, and so.
And you thought San Francisco to LA on a bicycle was a big deal.
Oh shit! It's like try going on foot, carrying all your worldly possessions, for 3 months. That would, and I was camping. That was, but there was somebody moving all the camp gear and stuff like that. Not me.
Yeah. Well, so are there any what do they call
Through
it?
hikers, or yeah, through.
Are there any through hikes in the California area?
I'm sure that you could start a through hike somewhere here in California. It's like they would be remiss if there wasn't some. I think there is some kind of a trail with the name Pacific in it, so it's got to come through here.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could just like take off from where you live, just hike straight to Yosemite.
Yeah,
If there's not a trail, you have to make one.
exactly. Just blaze your own.
You got a machete?
I do. I actually have a machete. When the zombie apocalypse comes, I'm going to go to my garage and get my machete.
Now, I don't know. I think an aluminum baseball bat would probably be better.
Maybe, but I don't have one of those.
Yeah. Now, a wooden bat would be no good because you know that at some point the sucker would break.
Oh yeah. But an aluminum bat, eventually it might get just beaten up to the point where it wouldn't work. And a machete could fold on you. Basically, you hit it at a wrong angle and it got a big bend.
Yeah. Or if like you hit it in their skull or or their hip bone or something, it gets stuck.
It could lodge. Yeah.
And it's not really sharp enough you could run them through very easy. It's
Oh.
not that kind of a weapon.
No, it's a hacking weapon only. But it's like, I mean, the other classic zombie weapons like a frying pan, I could field that, and there's no messing up a frying pan if you have it. There's no amount of beating zombies that's going to make it not an effective tool.
Now, frying pan's no good because it's like, first of all, it's short.
It's too close.
So
It is.
it's only good when zombies are really very close to you, and it's heavy.
So you
So
wear
you
out.
can't you wear out, and you can't swing it fast.
Yeah.
you can't really swing it really fast, like in quick successions. It's like you got to knock out 3 zombies right up close. It's like I don't know if you could manage that.
Yeah, it would be kind of hard. You need something like a katana, or actually, I think the machete would be a really good weapon because it's durable. Unless you get a big hooky bend in it, and then you could still use it. And then when the fight's over, get it straightened out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about like put a taped handle on a lawnmower blade, nice and thick. There's no danger of it bending.
No, that's true. That's heavy enough, and sturdy enough, and light enough. That's kind of like a sword because it's got that edged blade on it, but it's got the heft that you need.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what about the good old trusty, crowbar? What's wrong with the crowbar?
There's nothing wrong with a crowbar. Crowbars might be a little on the heavy-ish side.
But it's longer than a frying pan.
It is. But you're either holding it by the bend and it's secure, but it's not very heavy. The blow the end that delivers the blow is cantilevered to hit a lot of vibration up your arm and stuff like that. It's not very well weighted. And
but it has got a sharp edge, so you could shove it into the middle of a zombie's face or forehead.
That's true, and definitely, if you swing the tip of it through the forehead, they're going away. It's over for that. But
what about a piece of rebar?
That would be good. It might get bent up. It'd be kind of cool if it had a hunk of concrete at the end of it. Then it would be more like a mace,
Okay, so you only get one zombie weapon. What would you pick? Now you could pick a gun, but remember,
ammunition.
At some point you'll run out of ammo.
Chainsaw.
But you might run out of gasoline too.
Now, the chainsaws run on standard like automobile gasoline, or do they use some sort of special fuel?
They automobile gasoline with oil mixed in.
Okay, but in a zombie apocalypse, there's going to be a lot of abandoned cars, so you'll be able to find gas.
Chainsaw.
Yeah. And you could probably just take the motor oil and make it that work,
Yeah.
I don't think you have to have the spec.
So, okay.
Chainsaw would be good.
I guess even if it runs out of gas, you can still whack them with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But in the real world, you're going to end up with a few different. You can always pick up something else.
True.
Yeah, whacking people just with a non-spinning chainsaw would risk damaging the chainsaw, and you'd rather just pick up a broomstick or something like that. If you gotta fend them off like that. But yeah. I think a good old fashioned, not so much like a katana, unless they're really really rugged.
Well, like Walking Dead, like Michonne, she's got that samurai sword.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's like
it's
awesome.
It's awesome, but I fear that wouldn't be sturdy enough. I'd want maybe like a bastard sword, a classic, an Ulfbert sword.
Okay. You're talking about a medieval style.
Medieval,
sword.
yeah. Bastard sword. I think hand in half. Not a full on long sword. Not the two-handed sword because that's just too heavy to wield. But long sword would be good, or something hand and that had an extra half grip on it, so that you could use two hands. Because repelling them at a nice long distance like that would be good. But I think a standard longsword, which is.
But you can still break that, though.
Well, you could, but if it's made of good quality steel, then it's probably not going to break. So Certainly going to be more durable than a chainsaw.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. You're not gonna break. You're not gonna break a crowbar.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
That
if you
is
can
gonna
have it
last.
like that it had a hook on both ends, I think you could sell me on it.
Now, why would you want to hit them with the hook end? It might get caught or something.
It has more weight. It has more mass. I wouldn't hit them with the hook. I'd hit them with the bend, the other side of it. Uh, with at least by preference. But it's like, yeah, the it's heavier at that end, but I don't want to hold it by the skinny thin end because it's going to come out of your hand. Or if you could put a handle on it, that would be a good way to do it. If you could put a handle with a wrist strap on it so that it wouldn't fall out, you'd keep a hold of it. I think that would be yeah.
What about a good long Bowie knife? One of those really Crocodile Dundee. Now that's a knife.
That's a knife. It's too close, too in there. By the time you could really, behead one that have their claws on you, and you don't want any zombie germs.
No. You stab them right in the head with it.
Yeah,
like
but
they're
if you
doing
can
The
reach
Walking
their
Dead.
head with basically the butt of your hand, they can reach you with their hands. Too high of a risk of infection, I think. Because everybody
Okay.
knows that it's a disease, right?
Right. Whatever happened to the old-fashioned zombies who were raised out of graves?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In the olden days, zombies came up out of the grave.
And they were slow moving.
Right, and they were yeah. Now they're they can move fast, and it's an infection that you can become a zombie. Like the grave zombies, even if they bit you, you didn't become a zombie. You just got eaten.
That's true. Yeah, it's like it wasn't catching. There were a limited number of them, but there were a lot because they're the dead. I mean, the dead outnumber us. Actually, there was a Doctor Who episode in modern day Doctor Who where the Cybermen found a way to weaponize the dead. It's like, hey, if you could actually do a necromancy kind of thing to where you could bring back your dead and their dead as weapons, that's some pretty cool stuff.
Well, like the Nazi zombies.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, because there's just so many of them.
Yeah, zombies. Such a perfect thing for video games. I mean, my God.
I used to watch this show, Deadliest Warrior. Did you ever see it?
Yeah, sure, I've seen that.
Well, they had a zombie versus vampire episode. Because the premise of the show.
Now, see, that's not fair because zombies are not a threat all by themselves.
I know.
Zombie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you can't say one zombie versus one vampire.
No, they didn't. They basically they used their forensics methods to determine how many the zombies. One of their powers is overwhelming numbers, so they figured a ratio of a fit and powerful vampire versus how many zombies could overwhelm it, and I think figured out that it was 68 zombies per vampire.
Well, the vampire could just turn into a bat and fly into a tree where the zombies can't touch
They
him.
didn't permit that particular power. That would kind of spoil things. But the zombies had to be mindless, so but attracted to the vampires. So they tested with a mannequin, having the zombies basically tear off hunks and feed on a mannequin until it actually killed the heart or the brain. Because, of course, the poor vampire, overwhelmed and trapped under a pile of zombies, would be eaten alive until its heart was gone. It would be a very grisly way to go. But, but and they measured the bite strength of zombies being as zombies can bite harder than people because they don't care about their teeth and their jaws. They can apply unlimited amount of force, as much force as a human jaw can actually deliver, is what a zombie can bite. So they, did a lot of different measurements.
And so what was the bottom line?
I think the vampires won. I think that, and
Really?
you would figure that they would win, because but in the end, the vampires won. But I think they had 3 vampires and their attendant 68 zombies each. And there was 2 vampires left, and then they got the disease.
Now, there's 68 zombies for each vampire. Is that like the 72 virgins?
I think so. If you're an undead and you can, go. I guess you don't go to heaven and virgins. You go to hell and get zombies.
You get 68 zombies. Now, how do those jihad guys know that maybe that's not what they got it wrong? They don't get 72 virgins. They get 68 zombies.
Or they get to be a virgin for 68 dudes. Or something. I don't know. It's like. I think they probably go end up in hell. Not so much a nirvana.
Well, I don't see how the logistics of the 72 virgins things works. I mean, where did those 72 virgins come from? Are they just like celestial, beings, or are those actual, is that like if you're in, if you die and you're a female in Islam, do you go up to join the 72 virgins? Like one?
Well, yeah. You'd figure how do they? Well, but the thing is, I guess
how can they support a ratio?
Murder, and not that many people can murder. So yeah, you could just scoop up the dead girls who died virgin, right?
Wait. If it's heaven, couldn't they be like the biggest slut in town? And when they go up into heaven, they're virgins all of a sudden.
Well, perhaps, but I think the biggest problem is eternity. 72 is a pretty good number.
That's a good number, no doubt. Like at first, you'd be like, "Holy fuck!" And then,
yeah, after 100 years of one of them, you might want to try that second one. I'll bet you.
No.
In fact, very, very quickly, probably on the 65th day, you will have gone through all the 72 of them, and they're not virgins anymore. They may be yours, but they're not virgins.
Right. So you figure 65 days to get through 72 virgins.
Yeah. And then I bet.
I don't know, Flex. If you went to heaven and you had 72 virgins, how long do you think it would take you to get through those 72?
How the fuck do I know, man?
Would you burn through them all very, very fast, or would you save them? It's like I'm down to my last 3 virgins. It's like I can only have one every 10 years. Because it's like you've got eternity staring you at the face. It's like, what am I going to do once I've de-virginized my last virgin?
Yeah, that's true. That's a budgeting problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, eternity wins out eventually, though.
Yeah. And you're just going to be bored, and you're going to have 72 old hags hanging around, hanging on your ass.
All right. So I suppose this has devolved into like this crazy talk. So I think we probably got ourselves an episode.
I think we probably have.
Okay. So, if you out there are still watching Bulletproof Underwear, episode number 197.
Whee!
Yay! Good for you. 200. It's coming up real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. Okay.
Well, thank you, both you gentlemen, for having me on your show.
Sure thing. I've been your co-host, Yam Juice.
And I've been your co-host, Flex.
And we would like to thank you, Bajewel. So it's probably that time Oy vey. So, there's only one doggone thing left to do. Take us out, Mr. Flex.